After tragedies like this, we often look for reasons to explain unreasonable and unexplainable events, but oftentimes none come. Yesterday, 3 families received the call that law enforcement families fear each and every single day. They may not always talk about it or acknowledge it, but that fear is always there and very, very real. The fear that their father or their mother, husband or wife, beloved partner will not be returning home. I pray for the families who are dealing with unfathomable loss, and our hearts remain with the 2 families who received a call about their loved ones being seriously injured, and we pray for their recovery. This law enforcement community needs us right now. These families need us. The police departments, York County and the Commonwealth needs everyone to respond with grace, with love, with support, and yes, prayer. Police officers do not ask for awards, accolades, or attention. But the truth is, every single day, they're standing up for their communities, for many people who they have never met before, and putting their lives on the line. Many of us have been in a position where there's been an emergency in our lives, and we've needed help. And we've had to call 911, and the police come. And they oftentimes can fix a situation. They can make you feel better. They can take care of you. And after that's over, they leave. And as a family, you may come together and say, thank God we got through that. We're okay. But those police officers move on to the very next call. And then they move on to the very next call. Every day, every week, every month, for years, decades sometimes. And they don't have the luxury of taking a break and saying, you know what, we took care of that one, we took care of that family, we're fine. And this kind of detail in particular, when you're talking about a warrant, is some of the most absolute dangerous work our police officers do, because they never know exactly what they'll encounter. The officers involved with this incident went to a home to protect a woman and her children. They encountered a force of evil, hell-bent on taking lives. Think about that. Think about what these officers went through. And I ask, do police officers not deserve the full embrace and support of society? Being a police officer means kissing your spouse or partner and children goodbye every single morning or afternoon, depending on your shift, and heading off to a job where you have no idea what you're going to run into that day and what will be required of you. Our police officers today are so much more than law enforcement officials. They're social workers, mental health professionals, counselors, crisis interventionists, child care workers. And they have the bright light of public opinion and judgment shining on them every single day. But yet they perform their duties without hesitation, true to their oath to protect and serve. Yesterday, 3 brave officers gave their lives to fulfill their duties. In the midst of that gunfire, their mission expanded from protecting a family to saving one another, and those actions saved lives. Without committed, qualified police officers, any and every community in our nation is susceptible to lawlessness and disorder. Families and children are vulnerable. Our older residents are vulnerable. Who's going to hold the line between a free society and lawlessness? Well, we all can play a role. I've heard it said before that more and more we have come to expect less and less from each other. Looking around our world, it's hard to argue with that. Society has become programmed to devalue human life. Perhaps it's social media or the news environment that thrives on outrage, or the loss of in-person connections and relationships. But that doesn't mean that we have to accept it. We have to get past the attitude that we are not each other's keeper. Step away from the keyboard and talk to a stranger, talk to a neighbor, find a place to lend a hand. If we can't get if we can't get beyond that attitude of selfishness for the sake of our society, then do it for the sake of these men, these heroes and their families. As one of Pennsylvania's most famous and favorite sons, Fred Rogers once said, "Look for the helpers." I implore us all to not only seek out the helpers, but support and empower them, emulate them. Again, the answers we seek, the logic or reasoning to explain how such a horrible, unimaginable tragedy can happen, they are hard to come by. So let's not rely on answers and instead take action. Not all of us swear the oath to protect and serve. Not all of us put on a uniform, but we are all capable of being the unrelenting force that overcomes evil. And I think we are. Late last night, after spending the evening at the scene of this horrific crime with our fallen heroes, my friends that were partners when I served as a district attorney, we made a very sad journey with their bodies to York. The rain was falling as if God himself was mourning with us. As I looked outside my vehicle window, lining each rural road, outside each home, standing in the rain were our fellow York Countyans, with American flags, holding a vigil for these men and honoring their sacrifices. I want everyone to know how important that was to the police officers and the law enforcement community of York County. It was so important to each of us who knew these men and considered them friends. That is the humanity that we need in this moment and in our world. Thank you. May God bless and keep these men and their families, and may he protect the men and women in law enforcement every single day. Thank you. Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Chris Paris.
I would just simply like to say, again, on behalf of the Pennsylvania State Police, we stand with law enforcement in York County and all across the Commonwealth. We will continue to provide any and all resources at our disposal to ensure that the investigation is completed. The district attorney here in York County, our Attorney General, as well as the Northern York County Regional Police Department and the York County Sheriff's Department, I will say from a perspective of a police executive, they are a credit to law enforcement, the diligence with which they carried out this investigation from its onset, and the way that they doggedly and methodically did what they had to do in order to preserve life and seek justice is something that I know all people in York County and all people across the Commonwealth should be very proud. So we continue to support law enforcement services here. We will continue to do so. Our members' assistance people will be here with the Sheriff's Office as well as the Northern York County Regional Police. There are recovery support services that will have to be dealt with for the injured. There are line of duty funerals that have to be planned, and we stand with them and will support them today and every day forward. Thank you very much.
I stand here today to tell you the obvious. Our office is grieving. Our community is grieving. Our fellow men and brothers and sisters in blue are grieving. But what I can tell you, the only way we're going to get through this is prayer. And the support and the overwhelming support from our community, our law enforcement brothers and sisters, helps us to get through this. What I'd ask you to do is pray for my fellow colleague, Dave Lash. 3 of his men paid the ultimate sacrifice. And our condolences go out to you and your family members and to your support staff, because truly without them, we are nothing. They support us every day. I see them over there grieving. I would ask you to go home and pray. And with God's grace, we'll get through this. And pray for one of my officers that are now in surgery comes through. Appreciate the public support. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Lash. I'm the Chief of Police of the Northern York County Regional Police Department. Yesterday was a dark day for the Northern York County Regional Police Department and for all of York County and our communities. We are mourning the loss of 3 of our officers, and we continue to pray for the recovery of our 4th and also for the recovery of the York County Sheriff's Deputy. I want to take a moment to recognize the 3 officers we lost: Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, and Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser. Each of these men represented the very best of policing. They served with professionalism, dedication, and courage. They were leaders within our agency, committed to protecting this community and standing beside their fellow officers. Unfortunately, their deaths are the stark reminder of the risks law enforcement officers accept every day. They knowingly place themselves in harm's way to keep others safe. For that, we are forever indebted to them and their families. Currently, our administrative offices are closed, and police coverage in our municipalities is being provided by neighboring departments and the Pennsylvania State Police. We are grateful for their immediate support in helping us maintain public safety while our department works through this tragedy. The Northern York County Regional Police Department will return to patrol operations tomorrow on Friday, September 19th at 1900 hours. Until then, our partners will continue to ensure uninterrupted police service in our communities. We know the community wants to help, and an official endorsed donation portal will be announced shortly. This will ensure that all contributions go directly to the families of our fallen and injured officers. On behalf of the Northern York County Regional Police Department, I want to thank the community, our law enforcement partners, our elected officials, for their overwhelming outpouring of support. While nothing can erase the pain of this loss, your strength and compassion will help us and the families of Sergeant Cody Becker, Detective Mark Baker, and Detective Isaiah Emmenheiser as we move forward through the difficult days ahead. Thank you.
That concludes the comments that we came here today to make to everyone. I will be willing to take just a couple of questions, and the reason why I say that, those of you who are familiar with what we do in these circumstances, there will be a complete and full briefing in the future when the investigation is complete. There are many questions that we will not answer today because there is testing that is occurring. There is still information being reviewed and gathered, and we will not make speculative comments in that way. But we will answer a couple, but only a couple. Yes, sir.
Do you know if the assailant legally acquired the AR-15? How did he acquire the AR-15? Do you know about how many rounds he fired from the AR-15 in that 2-minute period?
So we do have, so I'll say it this way, we do know what the